Coming off the heels of UFC 300, we had two massive fight announcements during the post-fight press conference by the UFC president Dana White. One is the return of the notorious Conor McGregor, who returns to take on Michael Chandler in the main event of UFC 303 on June 29th. And the second being the return of the reigning defending UFC lightweight champion in Islam Makhachev, as he takes on the man who defeated Benoit Saint Denis via knockout at UFC 299 in Dustin the Diamond Poirier in the main event of UFC 302 in Newark, New Jersey in June. These two fight announcements are pretty massive. One we knew was coming, we just didn't know when, that being McGregor versus Chandler, and the second one being Poirier versus Makhachev. I don't think we expected it, but it's a decent fight for what it is, but I think we all kind of know, for the most part, how we expect that fight to play out. We'll talk about McGregor versus Chandler first. Obviously, we knew this was the fight they'd been targeting for over a year. We kind of lost hope, at least myself. I lost hope thinking that McGregor was never going to come back. But we know how much money he makes the promotion. We know McGregor's been training, getting ready. But he was also coming off that gruesome leg injury that he suffered in his last fight back at UFC 264 against Dustin the Diamond Poirier. So McGregor's been gone since 264. Think about that for a second. We haven't seen McGregor in almost 40 UFC events. And that's a long, long time to be away from the game. We know that ring rust isn't real, according to Dominic Cruz, but looking at this fight, I think there's stylistic advantages for McGregor, but also a lot of disadvantages for Conor against a fighter who's as athletic and explosive as a Michael Chandler. This reminds me a lot of the Chad Mendes style of matchup. I mean, Chandler is like a more athletic, more explosive version of a Chad Mendes. I think on one hand, this is a good fight for McGregor. He's fighting a primarily orthodox fighter, a short, stocky wrestler, but a wrestler who has one-hitter-quitter knockout power. Mendes had one-hitter-quitter knockout power as well, but it wasn't at the level of a Michael Chandler. Chandler will use his wrestling, and I think if he wrestles Conor McGregor, he's going to have a lot of success. He's going to be able to take him down. He's going to be able to shoot takedowns, whether it's head on the inside singles, outside singles, lifting in the high crotch position, taking him down. I think wrestling McGregor and getting to the top position is honestly the best way for Chandler to win this fight. I think Chandler has the speed and power to knock out Conor McGregor as well. If Dustin Poirier was able to do it, I think Chandler can do it. This isn't an easy fight for Conor, but I do think it's stylistically favorable. If he's going to be able to use his range, use his reach, use that long stabbing teep kick to the body, trying to time Chandler stepping in with knees, uppercuts, the lead uppercut to the back left hand, the lead uppercut to the straight left hand, or the 5-2, those, like I said, teep kicks to the body, chopping low kicks. I think we'll see a lot of front kicks and spinning kicks from McGregor in this fight, but not a lot of low kicks, because you don't want Chandler to either time your low kick and step in with a big overhand right or a straight right down the middle, and you don't want him to be able to catch those kicks and then transition it into a takedown. If Chandler uses his wrestling early and often, McGregor's going to be in for a long night. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And there is 100% a possibility that Chandler catches McGregor with that 1-2 right down the middle and knocks him out cold. Like I said, if Dustin Poirier is able to knock out Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler can do it. But stylistically, I guess I should say, this is a matchup that McGregor should be able to win. Keep Chandler at the end of his strikes, front kicks up the middle, spinning back kicks, long punches, lead uppercuts, 1-2s, try to land the left hand. Chandler is historically hittable. He's historically been rocked, knocked down, hurt multiple times in most of his fights. I think McGregor can knock him out with that left hand. I don't really know if I should make a prediction for this fight right away, because honestly, I think Chandler, like I said, he could knock him out. Chandler could submit McGregor. I think a sneaky thing is actually Chandler to win by submission. I know McGregor's been working on his wrestling. He has decent takedown defense. He has decently good jiu-jitsu off of his back, but he kind of just sits there, and I think if Chandler gets him tired or rocks him, that he can take his back and choke him. I'm going to go with Conor McGregor for my early prediction. I'm going to go Conor McGregor via first-round knockout with that left hand, but it would not surprise me if Chandler landed a big right hand on Conor's chin and put him out cold. Poirier knocked out McGregor, but it was kind of a barrage of punches. Chandler's the one guy, I think, who can land one shot on McGregor's chin and knock him out cold. I'm going to pick Mcgregor because I think he can win this fight. Like I said, I see some stylistic similarities to like an Eddie Alvarez, Chad Mendez, but Chandler's much more explosive and much more athletic. So I think McGregor's going to win, but it's ever so slight. I'll go McGregor by first round knockout, landing that left hand on Michael Chandler as Chandler's kind of up against the cage after he kind of front kicks him and keeps him away, and then lands that left hand. And the next fight we're going to talk about, like we said, is Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev in the main event of UFC 302 in Newark, New Jersey on June 1st. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm happy for Poirier. I'm happy he's getting another title shot, but at the same time, I don't see this fight playing out much different than the first Khabib fight. Well, the only Khabib fight back at UFC 242. I mean, I guess Poirier is going to have a boxing advantage, but Islam's striking has made so many leaps in his career that I almost can't give Dustin a full-on striking advantage over Islam on the feet. In terms of kicks, punches, knees, elbows, I feel like Poirier, yeah, he's going to have a boxing advantage for sure. But with that, Philly shell, shoulder roll, Dracula's cape style, he's going to be looking to land the 1-2, the right hook, the straight left hand, the uppercuts. I feel like the only place where Poirier is really going to have an advantage is if he's able to get Islam up against the cage and is able to land uppercuts, hooks, and put a barrage on Islam that hurts him up against the fence. But other than that, I think Islam's going to be able to take Poirier down. Islam's going to jump the guillotine over and over, and I just feel like we're going to get a submission from Islam Makhachev. It could even be a knockout. Like, Islam's striking has gotten so much better, but he is going to be fighting another southpaw, and, Islam really played the southpaw position well against Volkanovski. He's going to be fighting a similar stanced fighter in Poirier, so that might cut off his kicking game for the most part, except for like leg kicks and kicks to the body. But he places his kicks to the body, his head kicks so well. The 1-2s down the middle, the check hooks. He uses his striking very well. I think he'd be a little bit remiss to get into a striking battle with a fighter with as much power and technique as Poirier. But Poirier kind of thrives in that brawling style, even though he's a technician. With the way he throws his punches from a technique perspective, he kind of, thrives in that brawling aspect of a fight. And I think that Islam is more than likely going to get those takedowns. I mean, I know Poirier's been working on his takedown defense, but look at what Benoit Saint Denis did to him before he knocked him out. Took him down, got his back, put the hooks in, went for the rear naked choke, landed ground and pound. I feel like Islam's going to run through Dustin Poirier here. I don't think we get out of the first 2 rounds. He did get head kicked and knocked out by Gaethje, and then he came back and he won against Saint Denis. I counted him out against Saint Denis, and I had my reasons, and it looked like it was going the way that we needed it to, and then Saint Denis got clipped with that straight left hand and then knocked out with that right hook in the middle of an exchange. So I think Poirier has the power and the boxing ability to hurt Islam. It's just, is he going to get to the positions and have the opportunities in the fight to really use it? I don't really think so. I think Islam is going to land those kicks to the body, land some head kicks, land some 1-2s. When Poirier tries to rush, he'll get that takedown. Poirier's going to jump the guillotine like he does for most of his takedown defense. Islam's going to get out of it, land some ground and pound, take the back of Poirier, and get a rear naked choke. I think Islam is going to get a second round rear naked choke submission against Dustin Poirier. I'm rooting for Poirier. I'm not a big fan of Islam. I think he's a more well-rounded fighter than Khabib was, and I've said that from day one with Islam, but I'm not a fan of his. I've never really been a fan of his. I want Poirier to win. I'd like to see Poirier knock out Islam and win the title as like a feel-good moment, but do I think it's going to happen? No, I think Islam's going to make this look pretty easy. I think he's going to get those takedowns, get in the top position, land ground and pound, flatten out Poirier, and get a rear naked choke. We saw him get submitted with a rear naked choke by Charles Oliveira. We saw him get submitted with a rear naked choke by Khabib Nurmagomedov. I think it's just going to be a similar situation to both of those fights. Like I said, I want Poirier to win. I hope he wins. I hope Poirier knocks out Islam. But I think Islam's going to submit him. He's going to get him to the ground. He's going to get those takedowns. He's going to take his back, and he's going to submit him. And like I said, he is live for a knockout with those head kicks, the 1-2s down the middle, the check hooks. He could catch Poirier and knock him out, who is susceptible to some head kicks like we saw against Justin Gaethje. But I'm going to go with Islam by a second-round submission. I think he gets his back, gets the rear naked choke, and chokes him out. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the most recent, big fight announcements between Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier and Islam Makhachev for UFC 302. Do not forget to comment, like, subscribe, and smash the notification bell with a big left hook in commemoration of Poatan's knockout against Jamal Hill. I'll see you guys in the next video.